Hey guys! It was recently back to school season, so I thought, why not share with you how to create a school for your story? We're gonna pretend that I am not a month behind. I mean, it is 2020. What is time anymore? Before I get into it, I want to announce the winners of the pre-sale giveaway for Like My Mother Before Me. In case you missed it, my novel, Like My Mother Before Me, is available for pre-order. To celebrate, I held a pre-sale giveaway for the last 2 weeks for a chance to win one of 3 special edition Like My Mother Before Me book boxes. And the lucky winners are these guys. A huge congrats to them on their win, and a thank you for pre-ordering my novel. If you're bummed you weren't one of the winners, you can visit my website for other book boxes for Like My Mother Before Me and snag one for yourself. As a heads up, this week is your last chance to get the ebook copy of Like My Mother Before Me for only 99 cents. So don't say I didn't warn you. I also have launch party details to share at the end of this video, so be sure to watch until the end to learn all about it. Oh, and be sure to let me know in the comments if your story has a school in it, magical or not, and if you'll be joining my launch party. Now, on to creating your school. No matter if you're writing fiction or non-fiction or who your target audience is, there's a high chance your characters have either gone to school or are going to school. That's why I've got these 8 things for you to keep in mind while creating a school for your story, magical or not. First, you have to name your school. This can be anything you want. It can be distinguished and respectable or complete nonsense. All the high schools I know are named after the town or city that they're located in. You can name your school after someone special or important in your life or in the world. You can name it after a color, event, direction, animal, or even body part. I know there are some of you who are like, you can't really name a school anything, but there are adults still waiting on a letter from a place called Hogwarts. Second, decide your school's mascot and colors. All you have to do is pick an animal that best reflects the school's values. For example, you can choose a lion because they represent strength, assertiveness, and power. And you can choose the colors gold, purple, and white because they represent royalty and upper class. Or you can pick them because you like lions and you think those colors go well together. You can also break this down if your school has teams or houses. Just make sure that the school itself has its own mascot and colors. Third, map out your school. This is more for personal reference while writing your story. Write or draw out your school's layout to avoid writing a scene that happens on the 3rd floor of your school, but you've established that the school only has 2 levels throughout the rest of your story. You don't have to go into every detail about where every class is, but it's good to know how long of a walk your character takes to get from one class to another, the gym, or the cafeteria. It makes more realistic of what can happen in those few minutes a person has to get to their next class. You know what I'm talking about, right? Those locker scenes where kids stand in the hallway having full conversations in between classes. Like, no one actually has time for that. I remember having to like get up and go to the next class. And anytime we would hang around and talk in the hallway, teachers would just come out and rush us to go to the next class anyway. If your character has 5 minutes to get to class and that class is on the other side of the building, but another character wants to talk about plans for the weekend, they better be walking and talking. Fourth, consider your classes. What kind of students are your characters? Do they take AP, honors, regular, or intermediate classes? If so, what are those classes? Do they love math? Are they in drama or choir? Choir counts as a class, right? Yeah, it's a music class. Can they not stand their English or foreign language class? Be sure to take your character's grade into account, as math and science classes tend to change per grade. Fifth, include students and staff. You need somebody to sit in those classes and someone to teach them. Your protagonist doesn't need to know every teacher or student in their school, but other people have to exist. Create teachers relevant to the story or subjects your character is taking. Make sure your protagonist has friends or acquaintances that aren't part of the main cast. Whether you remember or not, Bella had other friends besides the Cullens and the Blacks. Regardless of how you feel about it, there are other people in the world, so there has to be other people in your fictional world. They may just be side characters, but they still need to exist. Besides, you and I both know it would be weird if Bella and the Cullens were the only people going to school and living in the town of Forks, Washington. Sixth, might sound silly, but think about their transportation. How are your characters getting to and from school? For some, it may be as easy as taking the bus, whether the school bus or public transit. Others may have their own car to drive, or a motorcycle, or get dropped off and picked up by a family member. But what if your school's magical? Do spells get them to school? A portal? Hogwarts uses a train. Are you planning to use a dragon? There are probably a lot of safety violations with that, but as long as your characters know how they're getting to school, who cares? I mean, obviously their parents care. Hopefully they do. 7th is school events, or just events in general. This can be super optional, but you can include sports games, dances, art shows, assemblies, and more. Your school doesn't have to be just about classes if you don't want it to be. Let your characters go to the football game or Valentine's dance, and let something important happen during them, good or bad. And 8 is include the bad. No school is perfect. Bad stuff happens at all of them. Should it happen? No, but it doesn't stop it from happening. A lot of schools take preventative action, but tragedies strike whenever, wherever, and to whoever. There are accidental deaths, suicide, rape, drunk driving that leads to horrid consequences, bullying, and more. While you don't have to include any of those specific tragedies, you shouldn't make your school all daisies and rainbows either. No one experiences school that way. And as a bonus thing to consider, you can also use a real school like I did in Like My Mother Before Me. If you're writing a contemporary setting and don't want to create a school from scratch, that's okay. Use the school you went to or the schools that are local in the city or town that you're writing about. If you're worried about legal issues, just keep your personal thoughts and opinions about the school out of your writing, and you're good to go. And that's everything you need to know about creating a school for your story, and what to do to avoid getting sued for using a real place or business in your writing. Also remember that I'm not a lawyer, so please do your own research. Based on my research, my method has worked for me, but I cannot promise it will work for you. And you should always double check stuff, guys. Come on. Accountability. Now to share the exciting details for the Like My Mother Before Me virtual launch party. You are cordially invited to join me on a 3-day virtual launch party to celebrate Like My Mother Before Me from October 25th to October 27th. For the first night, head over to Instagram while I'll be streaming live. Enjoy your favorite kind of pizza and drinks while we share the spookiest ghost stories we know. On the second night, join me over on Twitter where we'll live tweet and watch Disney's Coco together. On the final night, we'll head back to Instagram Live to celebrate the release of Like My Mother Before Me with a reading from my novel and an author Q&A. So be sure to mark your calendars because it's going to be such a great time, and I can't wait to party and celebrate with you. Remember to leave a comment letting me know if you're writing about a school in your story and if it's magical or not, and if you'll be celebrating Like My Mother Before Me with me. Give this video a like so I know you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel for more writing tips and advice. I post new videos on Sundays, so turn on your notifications to be the first to know when they're live, and follow me on social media so you don't miss all the fun. As always, thanks for watching. Until next time.